Good Thursday morning to all of you, and welcome to Let's Grow Together with Roar's Nursery and Garden Center, our weekly call-in show. Mr. Matt Workinger is here.
Good morning.
And Ms. Rachel Fender. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm just peachy keen, you guys.
Loving this weather?
No. Yes.
Yes.
But I'm peachy keen because the spotted lanternfly wants to come and visit us this spring.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I've heard some reports already on it, so.
And they've spread the quarantine to the whole state.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you guys? I mean, anything, or how does that work?
We pre-treat all our stuff at the nursery, so we have a spraying regimen where we're using different things to control broad spectrum. The nice thing about the spotter and lanternfly, if there's a good thing, is that it's fairly easy to control.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a very difficult insect to get rid of. A lot of people we're gonna probably recommend. Now, normally we don't recommend pre-treating shrubs, but there are certain shrubs that we do, like azaleas and rhododendron and Pieris japonica. Those are evergreens, and once their leaves get damaged, it just doesn't ever look the same.
Yeah.
So there's a granular you can put down in the early spring. It's called Tree and Shrub Protect, and it's a 12-month slow release, so it lasts for the entire season. So you only have to do it once a year, where the liquids are, you got to apply every 10 to 14 days, and then you got to be careful when we get hot in the summer because you don't want to spray it on the leaves when it's too warm. It's faster acting in the liquid form, but the granular, like this time of year, it's a perfect time. Like once we get into, I'd say probably mid-April, end of April, you can put that product down, and it just protects it for the whole year. You don't have to worry about anything happening to those shrubs.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you notice it, it's
because there was damage.
Yes,
Right.
You notice
Right.
the damage. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wonder, are we going to have to be like scraping them off the tree trunks this summer, do you think?
I don't know. From what the growers have said, they're all the growers that I've gone out to and done the tagging at and stuff, they have spraying programs for it, and there are certain sprays you use certain times a year. You can use dormant oils at certain times, and then the systemic insecticides at other times, and we saw a little bit of damage on autumn blaze maple last year. It's one of the ones they seem to prefer. It's a red and silver maple cross. It's the fastest growing maple that we sell. Okay. So we do keep an eye on that. And like I said, at the nursery, that stuff is treated before it ever would go out to a customer's house. So it should be protected.
And as far as like homeowners and stuff, prevention is always a good thing. Like ailanthus or tree of heaven is one of their host plants. And it is kind of a weedy tree. So if you have areas where things just kind of grow up and stuff, you kind of want to look and see if you have that.
I'm going out today.
If you look at, if you look up, the power of the internet and everything, you can look up Tree of Heaven and see what it kind of looks like. Because
it's a unique look.
It is,
It's
yeah.
easy to
And it
identify.
grows very fast.
Yeah, we talked
Very
about
fast,
that.
So.
So okay, that's some good
So it
information
just helps.
there.
Yep.
Again, if you want to give us a call, 330-450-1480. We'd love to hear from you. You can send emails to pcook, P-C-O-O-K, at WHBC.com. And I just happen to have an email already. This one comes from Paul. Paul says, I have a maple tree that has been there for 20 plus years. After last winter, I noticed all the grass under the canopy died. I replanted to no avail. Dug up some to check for grubs, didn't find any. Area looks a little bigger this year. Area probably 15 by 15. Do not notice this problem under any of my other trees.
Okay.
Any idea what the problem is?
I mean, again, without seeing if he wants to bring a picture into the nursery, that definitely helps us be more accurate. At this point, it's an educated guess. The more information we have, the higher likelihood of that guess being correct. But I would say probably as the trees age and mature, the canopy develops out. It blocks the sunlight. It also competes with the grass for moisture. And the tree's larger.
We were really dry last year.
We were really dry last summer. So without supplemental watering, and this being said, I've got 2 60, 70-foot oak trees in my front yard. I had to water underneath there last year, or that grass would not have survived. Even though the rest of the lawn necessarily didn't need it, underneath the tree it did, because even when we were getting moisture last year, the trees shed that moisture to the outside with the leaf canopy once the leaves are on.
And they were taking up everything they could.
Yeah.
Wow.
And with maples too, a lot of times the branches are lower. And we need to do some trimming and limb those up a little bit. It'll allow ambient light to come in from the side. And seeding in the springtime is highly recommended. Now, you want to be very careful. depends on if you're treating your yard yourself for, like, say, crabgrass. The chemical that kills crabgrass kills grass seeds as they germinate.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want to use that product anywhere you were using a grass seeding or a new grass seed, trying to get it to grow and fill in. But the spring is an excellent time to seed. And I started putting some down yesterday. Actually, I got
Yeah, we're starting to sell a lot of it too.
yeah, the gravel blown out of the driveway. Now, is that going to grow? No, not right now, but it will lay there dormant. And when the environment's right, it will grow. And as the ground heaves, so we'll get what's called a frost heave, where the ground will kind of like bubble up a little bit. And when you put that seed down, as the ground settles back down, it kind of pre-buries it just to the right depth where you're going to get good germination. So you
And
can
it
use
doesn't matter if
Mother
it
Nature.
snows on top of it.
No, not
no,
a bit. It'll
not at
just
all.
lay there
Okay.
dormant, and then you'll get good germination. Some people that seeded late in the fall, I'm sure there's still seeds laying there that did not germinate in the late fall, especially like bluegrass seeds takes 21 to 28 days to germinate. So those seeds that you put down last fall, if we were only warm for 2 weeks, that seed is still laying there. You'll lose about 10% maybe through a winter, and the rest should germinate and grow and thicken up and fill in this spring.
Okay.
And along with that too, now is a good time to schedule tree trimmings and that kind of thing. It is a good time to see before things leaf out. You can kind of see what you're doing.
Yeah, late winter is
time
a
for that.
great time to prune almost all trees, but there's certain trees that it's the best time to prune, like birch trees and oak trees. They shut down really, really late in the fall, so you never want to do hard pruning on those going into winter. It's always better right now this time of year. And you can see the stem structure, the
yeah.
branch structure really good
Yeah, it's
right
easy
now.
to see
That's
stuff.
what I was going to
so-
say, because when I pulled out of the driveway yesterday the magnolia tree. I'm like, and it's naked, so
Yep.
you can see. I see all the
branches.
how it's misshapen. You know,
you can see the
but there's buds on those.
Sure.
So
You are going to get some flower buds that come off when you're doing trimming this time of year on plants like the magnolia
Yeah.
that's set. So
it's okay if I would. I mean, not a heavy thing, but
what's
just
more important to you?
the shape of
Yeah,
it.
the shape of
Yes.
it. The long term is better to do the pruning, even if you're taking off some flower buds. Rhododendrons and azaleas a lot of times are the same way, but they're evergreen, so you can't really see the branch structure better now than you will be able to see it later. So
Right.
those we recommend you wait till just right when it's done blooming. That's when you want to prune those. But with the deciduous stuff, it's easy to see what's dead right now. You can tell the dead branches. Those are the first things that come off. The next set of branching that's going to come off is anything that we call a crossing branch, where it grows back across the
Yeah.
center of the plant.
you get some of the weird ones that
Yeah.
are kind of going crazy.
Yeah, when that happens, we want everything to start from the center and grow out.
Okay.
It's gonna, and sometimes a crossing branch can be, especially with my magnolia and
Yeah,
your magnolia,
yeah.
you can have a really big crossing branch. Take that out. You never want to take more than 10 to 15% of the plant off. So sometimes it's not even fixed in a single season.
Okay.
It's something you'll work on. But if you take a large branch out, remember, new sunlight's coming into that area, and that plant will grow back out from the center like it's supposed to.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have taken some off, and it's like, what's going to happen to that?
It'll fill right back
It'll fill in, yeah.
And that's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah,
See, we get this kind of weather.
it's a good excuse to
Yes.
come out. Yeah,
It is a good excuse to get out there
a lot
and
of
look
times
around.
other than picking up sticks and.
Well, this
you got
time of
stuff
year,
to do,
like
so.
my dad's house has got gravel on his driveway, and I plow it. Well, when it was super deep, I had to, and it's hard to keep the gravel
I was going to
in
say,
the
how do you
driveway.
do that? How do you
So
do it? Yeah.
it over 20 years, it's taken a long time to get good. Back dragging's the best way to do gravel drives, but when it's super deep like that, it's just really not an option. So you do what's called floating the blade, and it's not technically on the ground, but as your tires bounce, that blade will catch every once in a while.
Okay.
And so this time of year, I'll go back with a backpack blower along the edge of the drive, and anything, the gravel that rolled out in the snow, I'll blow that back into the driveway. It's way easier than raking it or picking it up a piece at a time. You just, that big backpack blower, it'll pick everything up and blow it right back into the driveway. And I also use that for dog.
Yeah, we were talking about
Dog waste.
because I said when the snow melted. No, I don't have dog waste, but my gosh, what was left
The
in the
sticks.
yard? All the sticks and the mess, and
Yeah.
it's annoying.
Just pick,
It is.
pick if it, especially like I have an acre. So when the snow melts, I'm like, oh, everything is terrible everywhere. I just got to tell myself, look, do underneath this tree today.
Yeah.
Do underneath that tree tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll pick the dry spots and I'll go out there first and
And
just pick away
Just
at
do a
it.
little bit.
And
yeah.
it feels so good to get outside.
It does. You're
Oh
right
my
about that.
gosh.
You're right about
Yeah.
that for sure. All right, we're going to take our first break. And again, you can give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 330-450-1480 is the number to call. It is Let's Grow Together with Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center.
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape? Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your number one nursery. Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your number one nursery.
Angelo's To Go in Canton is more than just pizza. It's a carry-out sandwich shop, a deli, Italian restaurant, and a pizza place all in one. Homemade sandwiches on fresh baked breads and rolls, crisp salads, real Italian comfort food, desserts, and award-winning pizza you'll crave again tomorrow. Old school pizza like no other. When you want real food done the right way, it's carry-out made legendary at Angelo's To Go in Canton.
Mix 94.1 and WHBC teaming up to bring you 330 Deals.
Get more, spend less.
With insane deals on some of your favorite local restaurants and businesses.
Activities, events, services, and more.
From right here in your own backyard.
330deals.com.
It's all the stuff you already love.
At prices that feel way better.
Eat more, do more, go more without blowing the budget.
With new deals every week.
It's 330deals.com.
Nearly 100 Stark County football players made it to the NFL, and 5 returned home to live in football immortality. The Pro Football Hall of Fame invites you to celebrate Stark County proud, an immersive new exhibit honoring our community's place in football history. From local high school fields to NFL stadiums, our community's legacy shines in every corner of this exhibit for a limited time at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Hi, welcome to Discount Drug Mart. It looks like you're getting ready for Lent.
You know it. Drug Mart always has the Lenten specials my family loves. Mac and cheese, pierogies, frozen fish, cheese pizza, and more. Plus fresh produce and salad fixings.
And you can't beat Drug Mart's prices.
Hey, I was just gonna say that. You know what else my family loves during Lent? Ice cream.
I like the way you think.
Discount Drug Mart saves you the runaround. You'll find everything you need. Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
The opening bell on WHBC is brought to you by Ameriprise, the Great Lakes Advisory Group. Call Jason Clemens or Brian Lake today for a free financial consultation at 330-493-0063.
And welcome back to Let's Grow Together here on 1480 WHBC. Let's Grow Together with Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center. Matt and Rachel are here and taking your calls at 330-450-1480, live on Facebook, live on our YouTube channel, so you can check us out there. Let's go to the phones, guys, and bring in Carol in Canton. You are on the air with Roar's Nursery. Go ahead.
Good morning.
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 I have two questions. One, I've called before about my hydrangeas, but I'm real frustrated with them towards fall. Well, they didn't do well at all last year, and I'm thinking of cutting them way back in the spring to maybe a foot tall.
Okay.
They're very close to each other, and I've always been hesitant to trimming them.
Okay.
Is that, if I cut them that short, is that going to kill them?
Let me ask you a question. Do you know what kind of hydrangea it is?
Oh, I can't remember.
Are the flowers blue or pink or white, and are they round or cone-shaped?
They're round,
Okay.
and they're a color that is a mixture.
Okay. All right, that helps me. If it's a
Yep.
mixture of that pinkish blue, then that is in the Macrophylla family.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
They sound like they're older, too.
yeah, and how long have they been in the ground?
Oh, let me think.
A while.
A while.
Okay. All right. So last year I did this with mine, and I'll have to send Pam some pictures. She can put them up on the online.
Yeah.
And so what you do periodically, a lot of people either don't trim them or just trim them with head shears. Ideally, the best way to trim a Macrophylla is to take the edge of the pruner blade and scratch the stem. You start at the tip, and if it's not green, you go down a little lower, scratch it again, go down a little lower and scratch it again. And what you'll find out is there's a lot of stems inside there that have died over the years. And so there's all this dead matter that's in there, and it blocks light and it blocks airflow and it prevents nutrients from getting down into the soil. So trimming it one stem at a time with a pair of pruners, checking each stem, is what we would recommend, especially for an old one, to kind of revitalize it. It takes a little bit of time and some patience. And then after you're done doing the pruning, once we get into mid-April, then you're going to want to use a lot of the all-season fertilizer. For an old established hydrangea, at least 3 scoops, and there's a scooper in each container.
Do you think she would hurt it if she cut it back really hard, though? I mean, I know you're going to probably lose some blooms and that
So
kind of thing.
If you haven't pruned it in a long time and you're going to do this type of pruning, take all of the dead wood out, take any crossing branches out, and then you're going to trim the top down to so say it's maybe 3 feet tall. You want to take it down to maybe 15, 18 inches. That would be fine.
Oh, I thought maybe I could this is terrible, but I thought maybe I could just go out there and trim it down to about 12 a foot.
So if you do that, you're going to be leaving all the dead stems attached at the base, and those dead stems that are there are going to block sunlight and airflow.
Yeah,
and
get those out first.
Yeah, you definitely want to take the time to prune it one stem at a time. I did mine last year at my house, also been in the ground like probably 15 years, and I hadn't done it in probably 7 or 8 years. And so it took me probably 20 minutes to a half hour per plant. But boy, did that plant do a ton better last year because it had all the things that it was lacking from and got rid of those dead stems out of there.
Okay, and then what did you say the food to put on it?
It's Roar's Nursery all-season fertilizer. It'll last for 6 months, so it'll feed it for the entire growing season, and you're going to use about 3 scoops per plant.
And you only do it once, so that's what's
once
really
in
nice.
the spring, and you're done.
Oh, okay, that's great. And one other quick question.
Yeah.
I have mums, and they really did beautiful last year, but I never got out there to trim those back. And so they're there, and I'm afraid, should I just leave them alone till I see growth coming up from around the plant?
No, you can take that off now because it's going to come back from the ground up. So leaving it until you see green's not a bad thing, but taking it off is a good idea to do too. So it's better to do it now. That way the plant can just regenerate and start fresh.
Oh, but I don't do it this month.
No, you can do it now. So because all of that's just dead and just kind of laying there. So you can go ahead and take that off. And because if, a lot of times people do it in the fall, but if you missed, that opportunity, which a lot of us did. So you're fine to do that. And that way it'll just start back fresh. But it's good to get that dead off of there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the
Great
call.
questions.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Carol. All right. So, boy, a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah.
Seeing well, it was kind of the
Snow
opposite.
melted.
I was going to say the fear of the pruner, but she wasn't fearing it.
Right? No, not at all. And again, with other types of hydrangeas, so when people call and ask a question like that, depending on what type of hydrangea is, really depends on how I formulate that answer. If it would have been a paniculata variety, which is the ones with the cone-shaped flowers, you can get pretty aggressive with those. You're not going to hurt them. You're not going to affect the blooming the next year, and you can take them way back. If they were 5 foot tall and you take them back to 2 foot tall, they'll be 5 foot tall again by midsummer, because the root system has enough energy being sent up that it'll really send some big shoots up.
And that's the cone-shaped flowers,
that's
right?
the cone-shaped.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had a dry summer last
yeah.
year. So, and the macrophylla really like a lot of water
Yes,
too.
yes,
So,
yeah. I didn't mention that.
a lot of the bigger, like glossier leaf plants, they're usually, they suck up a lot of water and stuff. So,
well, and if we had a super dry summer and fall, and if there was a lot of dead matter in there, it sheds that water to the outside. It doesn't let it get down into the root system. That's why that specific type of pruning with that plant, you don't get that dieback with quercifolia, which is oak leaf hydrangea, or paniculata hydrangea like your bobos or your limelights. They don't have that stem dieback like a macrophylla, like an endless summer or twist and shout or a summer crush. They experience stem dieback in our winters here, and it's not even always in the winter when they experience. Sometimes it's in the spring. We'll warm up, the sap will start flowing up the stems, and then we'll go back down to 18 degrees, and it freezes the stem. So it's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just the way that plant is in our environment here. Now down in Cincinnati, further south, they're not going to have that same issue we have up here. It is hardy here. It's just it requires a little bit more on the pruning end of things.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you ever seen the hydrangeas like along the beach shore? Like in Florida, New Jersey, where I go. I mean.
And they're bright
it's insane.
blue. Bright
They're
blue.
giant and big and oh my gosh.
They have a lot of
and there's actually a mountain hydrangea called serrata.
Yes.
And that one will grow up in the alpine area. So there's hydrangeas are very broad in all the different families that are out there.
And there's probably a breed that'll grow anywhere, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. Desert is about, super arid. Because that plant's so leafy, that's about the only environment I don't think one would perform well in.
Yeah.
So, funny thing is, too, the deer like the macrophylla.
Yes.
I don't really think they eat the paniculatas, but they definitely like the macrophylla.
Well, a winter like this where things were covered, they will eat the paniculatas. It's not their first choice. The macrophyllus, they've been in my yard chewing on mine. Yes. They even hit my liriope this week.
You were showing us a picture of that.
That's something I wouldn't really think. You never know.
I was surprised too, but they was up above the snow when the yard was still completely covered last week. They're like, look, that looks green, because liriope it's considered what's called a semi-evergreen here. So it still had green, moisture, nutrients in those stems, and so they came right up next to the deck and just mowed one down, and that doesn't bother me because I'm chopping all those back to like a 2-inch stubble here in the next couple weeks anyway. So, guys, have at it.
Yeah, and poor things. Walking through all that snow and looking for food. I hate that. Anyway, all right. We are going to break for the news, and we'll come back again. Please know you can give us a call at 330-450-1480. It is Let's Grow Together, Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center.
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape. Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your number one nursery. Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your number one nursery.
Medicine Center pharmacies have been serving our local community for over 40 years. Our customers know they can count on our pharmacy staff, save money, and trust us. Stop by any of our Medicine Center pharmacy locations in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, or visit us online at medshoprx.com.
Time is ticking and your dream home's waiting. This is Steve Struckle, mortgage loan originator at the Commercial and Savings Bank. We understand that buying a home can be overwhelming, but with CSB, it's easier than ever. We offer a range of options, whether you're looking to buy, build, refinance, or improve your home. Our mortgage lenders will guide you every step of the way. Visit our website at csb1.com to apply online today and turn your dream into reality. The Commercial and Savings Bank, where homeownership begins. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Advent, nasal congestion and sinus infections can be solved with an in-office 20-minute procedure. Elsewhere, expect surgery.
Remember the music that defined a generation? Experience the timeless sound of Chicago with Chicago Rewired, live at the Ohio Star Theater, February 20th, with showtimes at 1 and 7. Find out more and get your tickets today at dhgroup.com.
Back by popular demand, pros pick DuraCube or Red Out Softener Salt is buy 12, get 1 free at Verndale Water Experts. Stop in or convenient home delivery available.
Ferndale's Water Center.
It's cold, but the cash is hot. You have a chance to win $1,000 in our Winter Cash Warm-Up Contest.
Show me the money.
Go to WHBC.com and enter daily for your chance to win. Now through February 22nd. Yeah, that'll warm you up. Enter now at WHBC.com.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, a new bill at the State House is aiming to protect children. Representative Josh Williams introducing Kaimani's Law, named after Kaimani Lateeg. Family members reported the 13-year-old missing last March, later found her body in a burned-out house in East Toledo. Police charged her father with her murder. Under the bill, specific policies would require public schools to appoint a child protection liaison, and that person will be responsible for managing child abuse or neglect involving students. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified yesterday in a landmark trial where he denied that Instagram is designed to be addictive to young users, making his first time testifying about child safety in front of a jury. The consolidated cases involve over 1,600 plaintiffs, including more than 350 families and 250 school districts, accusing social media platforms of knowingly designing addictive products harmful to young users' mental health. A mother whose daughter died in 2021 said after the testimony that she heard nothing new and that children continued to be harmed. At the Olympics, both the USA and Canada, the men's hockey teams had to go to overtime in their games yesterday. Both did end up winning. The U.S. will now take on Slovakia tomorrow afternoon at 3. The U.S. women's hockey team goes for the gold today against Canada. Puck drops at 1:10 p.m. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today, expect patchy fog leading to reduced visibility in the morning with mostly cloudy skies and a few showers in the afternoon. The high will reach 59. Tonight, anticipate periods of rain accompanied by a thunderstorm with a low of 47. Tomorrow will become increasingly windy with low clouds gradually giving way to sunshine. The high temperature will be 57. Tomorrow night, it will be breezy early on, then become partly cloudy and colder with a low of 30. With the AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful Thursday morning. Let's go together. Roar's Nursery and Garden Center. Pam Cook with you, along with Matt and Rachel from Roar's, answering your questions. A lot of good questions from Carol. She really got us started chatting there, didn't she? So, Matt, you're going to have to put on the muscles and put the back brace on, all that good stuff coming up here pretty soon.
Break out the ibuprofen. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
So they're getting to, we talked to a grower this last week. We've got a First load of evergreens coming in, which will be spruce trees and arborvitae, big bald and burlap material, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 foot tall stuff. The first semi comes next Friday if the weather will still allow it, and then the following semi comes on Monday. So we'll probably have 200 trees in there by Monday afternoon.
Yeah, we start big and then work our way, get the big stuff and then go down from there.
Wow.
So it's
And
coming.
we'll end up taking it probably around 37, 38 semis in the month of March. But the last 5 years, we've been very, very lucky. We've taken the very first evergreen semi last week of February, the last 5 years in a row now.
That's pretty crazy.
He called me 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Hey, are you ready?" I said, "There's 3 feet of snow on the ground.
Yeah,
no,
no.
I am not ready."
It's so weird how quick the ground can thaw. I mean, as cold as we were.
I know.
It's like, oh wow,
I
it's
know.
squishy.
It is squishy.
Yeah,
and
it's very
sticks,
squishy.
except when you step on the sticks.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, well, that's cool. And then when does all the then you'll get all those semis? I mean.
So we'll start with trees and shrubs. I
Yeah.
mean, again, the big trees take a long time to put away. We don't want to try to unload those trucks in April. I want to be helping customers in
Right.
April. So if we can get that work done in, late February, early March, that allows us to use that same knowledgeable staff that's got 12, 15 years experience to be out there on the sales floor with the customer, making sure they're getting the right plant for the right place. And then we'll bring shrubs in next. We'll bring in probably, 10,000-15,000 shrubs, semis and semi-loads of them to fill up both nurseries, and then perennials.
And then,
then
I was going to
annuals.
say, and then it just gets to a point where there's just things coming in all over the place, and there's trucks here, trucks there.
And it's
so
wonderful.
it's blooming at the seams. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
is. It's very exciting. So we
Yeah.
love filling up
I love
the
that.
greenhouse.
About the end of April, we get this big shoehorn out to try to make everything fit.
Oh, let's put these in the parking lot.
Basically, yeah, a lot of times there is.
Sometimes. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. There's a good couple weeks, like in the middle of May, where it's just like, where do we put this?
Well, and we have guidelines from our growers. We have to take X product by X date.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's
Pre-orders
cold and snowy or cold and rainy, people aren't buying yet, but they're going to buy, and I know I need that product. So when the weather doesn't cooperate, we're really looking for where are we going to put all this stuff, because we haven't sold what we brought in. We know it's going to go, and
Right.
then we're going to need stuff behind it. And if we don't take this load from the grower, then they're out.
Yeah.
So it creates a logistics issue.
Mother
Yes.
Nature has
Yeah,
so much
we always
control,
have to play
doesn't
that.
she?
Yep. Yeah, so
She really does.
play that game, looking for frost in the spring, and if it's coming, we got to drop all the hanging baskets, bring them in,
Yeah.
cover
Oh my gosh.
everything.
Everything.
Sometimes it takes like a good hour and a half, 2 hours
We've
before
had
we.
quite a
but,
cool
yeah,
April the
I don't
last
want to
3
jinx.
years.
Yeah, right.
So I'm hoping
We've been
that
good.
we have
So-
Get to the
a
warm
warmer
thing.
April would be nice.
Yeah, because there was a Mother's Day one time that I think it was during COVID. We actually had to rent heaters and
Yep.
stuff. We had that freeze. It was a freeze, and I
Wow.
remember we all had to go home and we brought in our heaters and everything because we had everything up top in the hoop houses, trying to keep everything warm.
So we unpacked it all, and then in 2 days we tried to pack it all back in the house.
Yeah, it was crazy. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, hey, and then there's been
Oh,
times
the
in
life of the people
yes,
at Roars.
Yep, and then there's been times in March where we're
Good
full
to go.
swing.
70 degrees,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so you just never know.
So you're
it's the
hearing
fun of Ohio.
You're hearing these two. You guys were like celebrity visitors, weren't you?
What celebrity?
Well, we went
Yes.
out and spoke to a local garden club. We don't really
Yeah, the
advertise
Canton
it.
Garden-
Yeah,
Canton Women's Garden Center.
Women's
Garden
Garden Club. Yeah. So we went out and did a big seminar for them the other day. Rachel and I both went out and we talked with them for a couple hours about just, spring checklists, different products that you want to consider to use in the spring and why they're better than some of the other products that are out there. And it was just fun. I mean, everybody came up to the table afterwards, was asking like personalized questions, and we spent quite a bit of time there with them. And really, you can tell they're passionate about it
Yeah.
and they enjoy it. And a lot of times when we do a seminar, I'll ask a question: "Hey, show me how many hands that know what manganese does in fertilizer." And that one, they didn't put their hands up. But a couple of the other questions, I asked the question, and everybody's hand in the room went up. I'm like, "That's not fair. You guys
What do you need me for? Yeah.
So it ends up being a good time. We had a great time with them. And if you guys have anybody out there listening that would want to have us come in as speakers, that is something that we do.
What did they want to know about the most? Do you think? What were their
A lot of
questions?
hydrangea questions.
Yes,
see
yeah.
hydrangeas.
It's the trimming of hydrangeas
Right.
that's always kind of
It's
tricky.
confusing.
and
Even
pruning
It
is,
is, yeah.
And these ladies are like knowledgeable. I mean, this is the garden club. A lot of these ladies even go get that, state certification that you can get
Gotcha.
about horticulture. And so even they have questions about it because there's so many different varieties and each site's unique. And we tell them when we were working with them the other day, I said, they asked me a question. I had to ask them 5 more questions so I could answer the question right. If you ask a question
That's
and
kind of
they
the
don't ask
norm.
you questions back, then they're guessing and they're not answering very accurately.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of get, people come in and do ask, I want to plant for this or that. They ask one question and we ask like 5 more. So sometimes, they weren't prepared for that. But there's just, we just kind of talk about, what to do before planting and get ready for spring.
All right, let's go back to the phones. We have Joe in East Canton. You are on the air with Roar's Nursery. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, I got some Rose of Sharon. They're just big and unruly.
Yeah.
When should I cut them back? And how far back can I cut them? I would like to make them like shrub size, a couple 3 foot tall. How far can I cut them back without killing them?
Okay, so if we go off of what the universities say, they say never more than like 1/3 to 1/2 of the new growth. That being said, you're talking about severely taking a shrub back multiple years growth. The early spring is the best time to do that. We want to wait till the brunt of winter is over. We're pretty close to that now. I would say any time in March would be a good time to do that. It would also be time to maybe selectively reduce some of the stems. So when Rose of Sharon grow, a lot of times they'll start with 6 stems, but then have 20 stems. And so you can selectively reduce some of the stems coming right out of the ground and take them off right at the ground. And then if you can trim the top back, remember when you trim it back, it's going to flush a significant amount of growth. So if it's, say, 6-7 feet tall and you cut it back to 3 feet, it's going to end at 4.5 feet because it is going to flush growth back up and try to go back to the height that it was. So you want to remember that when pruning, expect 12 to 18 inches of growth to come out of that plant. Also, when you prune heavy like that, fertilization is super important. So you want to use that Roar's all-season 6-month slow release so it helps the plant recover because trimming like that is stressful. And that's why we only recommend that this time of year because we're going to come into the best growing time for the entire season. We're going to have that 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks where it's just perfect environment to grow the plants. And so the plant recovers quicker from it. Does that help?
Perfect. Exactly what I want to know. And that all-purpose fertilizer just wonders for everything I put it on, too. It's great stuff.
Great.
Yeah, we appreciate
to get that.
Yeah, we appreciate that feedback. And
Yeah, I like
truthfully,
hearing that.
the cost of that product is the exact same as a lot of other products that are out there that maybe last 6 weeks or 8 weeks. This stuff lasts 6 months, so it's far superior.
Oh, yeah, I buy that stuff from you guys and give it to my daughters for gifts.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Great idea.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That's nice.
It's a good gift.
You're going to help them be successful with that. So it's just, and it works on everything. That's the other thing. And they, even if they use it wrong, don't read the directions and put 4 times as much on as they should, it's not going to hurt anything.
Yep.
It releases so slow, it kind of protects them from mistakes as well.
Right. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for the call, Joe. We
thanks for the
appreciate
call.
it. Bye-bye.
We were kind of talking about that at on Tuesday at the seminar that we've had the all seasons out, a couple years now and stuff. So we've found, results with it and heard feedback and everything. And we're hearing, a lot of good results with it.
And his feedback is pretty much the standard. We're hearing that back from everybody. And like the first year, I think we sold around 2,000 pounds. Last year, we sold 18,000 pounds.
Holy cow.
So when people come back in and they bought the 2-pounder or the 5-pounder the first year, and they're buying the 10 or 15-pounder the next year.
It's working.
You know it's working. They had success with it. They saw it firsthand, and they want to use it on everything instead of just a few things.
I was just going to say, so you can use it on everything.
Yes, we don't. They say you can use it on things you eat and vegetables and that kind of stuff. We personally we don't like to do that. We don't like to recommend that. We like to stick more organic.
Okay,
but
for the food stuff.
But
but like flower pots,
flowers,
and
hanging
all
baskets,
shrubs.
Yep, shrubs. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do that.
And
this year.
it's nice that you just can just throw it once down one.
Hanging baskets are the ones that cause me the most problem.
Yeah.
They're hard to grow.
They're finicky. Well, they're huge feeder,
plant.
and it does depend. Yeah.
What did you have? Ferns or something?
So geraniums.
Geraniums.
They're the easiest.
Especially
to
for
they
farm.
are.
Yeah.
Geraniums are best.
Can't go wrong.
And I always get my boys buy it for my wife. They get the big bright pink I think is that Martha Washington?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
there's
one
some
of the
ivy geraniums in there,
neon
too,
pink
sometimes.
ones.
Yeah,
and
yes.
2 years ago, you're supposed to water it with a liquid fertilizer, but I just get so busy at work. I come home, I can't remember, did I fertilize? I always try to keep it watered, and I do a good job at that, but I just, all of a sudden the leaves start to turn yellow, and by then it's nutrient deficient already, so then it takes a long time to come back. So I got frustrated a couple summers ago and literally took about 5 times, 10 times as much all season
That was
fertilizer.
angry fertilizing.
I'm like, it's either going to grow or die. I don't care. And I look like
Good experiment.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm
you
like,
know.
it looked like green gravel on the top of the hanging basket pot. It was like an inch thick.
Oh my god,
that thing looked awesome all the way into October.
I do remember that picture. Yeah,
So I was like, I don't have to remember to fertilize anymore. All I got to do is water.
That
it.
is what's
I
nice
love it.
about
That's
that.
great.
Because
Yes.
you can fertilize on top of that with the
Right.
liquid, but because and you're as long as you're following the instructions on the liquid fertilizer, you can fertilize every time you water, really. And because they're such heavy feeders and there's not
Yeah.
much nutrients in there, they have such a short lifespan. And yeah, once they get to that point of where they start
I
looking
will
yellow.
say this:
and stuff.
I've noticed our geranium specifically, that one, because it sends out such an aggressive root system. Our containers, our hanging baskets, are a little larger, and it's a very dense soil, and so it does retain moisture significantly longer than some of the smaller potted hanging
Gotcha.
baskets. That, while it may not make a big difference initially as that plant matures in the summertime, it's a huge difference from like if you go from like an 8-inch to a 12-inch hanging basket. It's so much easier to care for because that extra soil that's in there holds that extra moisture and goes the entire length of the day before sometimes, you come home from work and, I should have watered it 2 hours ago, but I was still at work.
Yeah. Or you watered it before you went to work and
Right.
still came home and it was
dry.
It was dry because
So
that
the-
happens a lot.
Yeah, that larger root system is important for longevity, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like in the summer months, your maintenance will be less on a 12-inch basket than an 8-inch basket.
Okay.
And they're
gotcha.
up in the they're up,
Right.
out.
Right.
They're getting more wind and
Yeah.
they're hanging. So they're
Right.
kind of
Right.
getting a little bit more exposure than other things too. So
All right, time to take our final break, folks. We'll do that right now. And again, if you have a question, please call. We'd love to hear from you. 330-450-1480. Let's grow together with Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center.
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape? Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Rohr's Nursery. We want to be your number one nursery. Rohr's Nursery. We want to be your number one nursery.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
1 in 5 children in our state face hunger. That's more than 500,000 kids. And many Ohio educators continue to dig deep into their own wallets to make sure their students are fed. Please stand with us to make sure all Ohio students can get the food they need so they can focus on learning and reach their full potential.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
As we enter into the new year, we're all trying to find new ways to save money, especially energy costs. One way to do that is to get solar panels for your home. Hi, I'm Pam Cook. With the recent improvements in solar technology and the increase in electric costs, solar panels are making more sense for more people here in Ohio. The folks at Yellow Light would love to give you a free consultation to see if your home is a good candidate for solar panels. They'll show you how much you can save on your energy costs. Call Yellow Light today, 216-220-6233.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
All right, it is our final segment here on Let's Grow Together. with Roar's Nursery and Garden Center. Pam Cook and Matt and Rachel are here too.
Yes.
And we were just talking about, remember the topsy-turvy tomato
Yes.
growers?
Yeah, it was
where you
kind
can
of one
hang
of
them on a
those
hook. And
as seen on TV things.
Yes,
But they
yes.
they actually worked really well
They
for cherry
did.
tomatoes. And
Yeah.
I just.
I did it. I did it one season just because
Yeah.
I wanted to see if they worked.
They were
you
all
know?
the rage.
I
but-
loved it. Yeah. It
and
was
like you were
great.
saying on the break, like a lot of stuff, things couldn't get to it.
Right.
Not
I
as
hung it up
easily
there on
anyway.
that
Yeah, they
shepherd's
had to-
hook and, watered it and took care of it, and it was good stuff. I
Hanging
like
tomatoes, yeah.
It's
a
We'll have
good
to see if those are available.
Just for the heck of it, it could be
it's
fun.
It's just one of those things you
We
forget
could put
about.
some
It's
out in
like,
the front yard of the radio station, see what happens. Although we don't have a lot of sun out there because of those trees. Those trees
Those
are
beautiful.
enormous.
Those are beautiful oak trees, though.
Yeah, they are. They are, but they are so big. So you look up into those trees, and it's
When I was coming in, I was looking up at them. Just like,
I bet it drops the cooling here at the radio station about 20%, though.
In the summertime.
A big shade tree on the
yeah.
west side of a home, which shades it in the afternoon, it's significant, the amount of utilities that you're not using to cool your home.
Yeah.
The
Right.
shade that provides is significant.
That's my house. The two giant trees are on the west side of my house.
oh, that's perfect.
So,
yeah, you really
Mhm.
notice it too. Yeah, I have the same. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have people that come in that have had like big trees around their house, and then they cut them down. They're like, I didn't realize how hot that deck was going to get.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like, oh.
sad when you have to, when you don't
like
want
if,
to and
if
you
they're
have
old
to.
or
and-
damaged or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You never can tell, but so we're getting ready. You're going to have the delivery. What else should we be thinking about right now?
Seed selection.
Yes.
Oh, the
yeah,
seeds, yes.
starting.
I
Yes.
mentioned
Yeah,
that
it's
earlier
getting-
this morning.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did send a I sent out the seed starting kind of guide thing there, but
Mhm.
it is getting time to be getting your seeds out and usually about like late February, early March. It's about the time to start planting
picking.
tomatoes.
About mid-April, we'll take a look at our ponds. Now that we have thought out, if anybody had put a leaf net on the pond, which we highly recommend in the fall, it protects the fish from predators. It prevents the neighbor's leaves from blowing over and getting in your pond. Some of those leaf nets have sagged into the water, and everything's been frozen, so you really haven't been able to get them back up. Now would be a good time to go around the edge of the pond, retaunt up those leaf nets, and sometimes you can take a blower if there's still some stuff on it as you pull it back up out of the water and get that debris out. But we'll start the pumps up usually sometime around mid-April.
Okay.
So we're a little ways away from that yet, but
And it's still a little squishy and like the ground's still not really workable yet to be like amending your soil for the garden
Right.
yet and that kind of stuff.
Unless you want to make a mud patty.
Yeah.
Let's get Jim. Jim in Louisville. You're on the air with Roar's Nursery. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
I caught the tail end of something about cutting a tree back over a porch. Well, we moved recently in the fall into a condominium. A lot of my plants and things that I planted over the years I wasn't able to take with me, of course, and it's real restricted as to what I can grow around my condominium. But I have a Bradford pear, and the previous, maybe a couple previous owners ago, must have planted, and it's grown quite tall. And I know that there's a restriction in by our HOA at the condominiums that the trees can only be a certain height, and I'm sure that this has been overlooked. It needs cut back.
Yep.
How drastically can I cut a Bradford pear back? When's the best time to do that? And I know they do have a pretty bloom, I think, in the spring.
early spring. Yep. So you can trim it right after the early spring bloom. Ideally, again, here you got to be careful how far back you trim it, but that time of year is the best time to trim if you're going to trim aggressively. Understand that if something happens to this tree, you cannot replace it with another pear tree. That's not an association thing. That is a state of Ohio thing. They have made the pear trees illegal. Now, you can grow fruiting pears, but you can't grow just the flowering pears. They have made those illegal in the state of Ohio because the little berries that are on them will actually reproduce and grow trees all over the place.
I had done a little research, and I know that they're considered, I guess, invasive or something species. I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut it back. And the other thing I was a little concerned about in reading about that is that could it make the remaining limbs more fragile, and are Bradfords prone to like breaking
It depends on which type of Bradford. There's a Bradford and then a new Bradford. If it's one of the new Bradfords, and you'll be able to tell by looking at the stem or like the trunk of the tree, if the branching comes off at a 45 to a 90-degree angle, that's actually a very strong branch. The closer that branch comes off the trunk from like a 45 in to a directly up and down, the weaker the crotch of that tree is, and the more likely it is to have damage in the future. You may need to, once you do the initial pruning, continue to prune in future years to keep the branch load light on that so it doesn't want to peel that tree apart.
Okay. One. Thank you. One additional question. Any guidelines as to, when I'm trying to employ a tree trimmer or somebody to cut that back, as to, I don't want someone that with no knowledge at all about cutting it back, coming out with just a chainsaw and a ladder. Any guidelines into selecting someone that can do that and do it appropriately?
I definitely look at one of the companies that's been around for a long time. I know that I can tell you who we use as subcontractor for trimming on a lot of our jobs. We've used Haymaker in the past, Haymaker Tree Service. We've used Barron's Tree Service. We've used Hollinger Tree Service. Those are 3 companies, and Davy Tree Service as well. Davy Tree. So those 4 companies, you can choose who you would want to have come out, and I would get more than one quote as well.
Yeah.
Especially, and you'll get a feel for the person that comes out and their knowledge, and that interaction is equally important.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's perfect. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, let's go to Mike in Maslin. You are on the air with Roar's Nursery. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Mike.
I have what I hope is a simple question. Excuse me. The granular all-season fertilizer that you're talking about that's good for all plants, do I need to work that into the soil, or can I put it down and then put my new mulch over it? Or
okay,
that's a great question.
That's a great question. Even the garden club ladies that we talked to on Monday that have a ton of experience had that question as well. And my personal preference, in the most perfect situation, take it and rough it into the soil. Just take your fingertips or a little hand rake and kind of like scratch it so it makes good soil contact. It will work if it's just laying on top. It'll leach down through. I would do it and rake it into the soil and then cover it with this year's mulch. That being said, I also want to talk to everybody out there listening. The prills that make up the shell, the outer shell of that fertilizer, they last for about 18 months. The fertilizer comes out of that shell in about 6 months. So you are going to see the prill still there, which is the shell. And a lot of people think, I don't need to do any more fertilizing. Last year's fertilizer is still there, but it is just the empty shell. So definitely don't look at that from year to year and say, there's still fertilizer there. It's just the shell left from the season before.
Okay.
Now,
the shell, will that eventually disintegrate?
Yeah, the shell breaks down. It takes about 3 times as long for the shell to break down, and it's the only way they've been able to figure out how to slow the fusion of the fertilizer out of the shell, and the shell does last longer than I wish it would, but right now it's the only way to get a good 6-month fertilizer is with a shell like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. That answers that question. Now, is there any kind of an insecticide in this that will keep the bugs off the plants also?
No, but we do sell stuff called Tree and Shrub Protect that's a granular you can put down the same time as that fertilizer, and it will protect for 12 months.
But that's
season.
just fertilizer.
I've bought it from you in the past.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks.
All right, Matt, give us the pertinent information here real quick.
All right, we have 2 Roar's Nursery locations, 5357 Everhard Road in Canton. Our landscapers are making appointments now to come out and do bidding. And our other location is 7211 Portage Street in Maslin.
All right, guys. Another great Thursday show. See you next week.
Sounds
See
good.
you then.
Hi, it's Angie Roar with Roar's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Roar's, we're getting ready for it.